the wake of Hurricane Milton, Western Mass News is reaching out to Florida residents who share their reactions to the storm's destruction. Western Mass News reporter Addie Patterson joins us live in studio after speaking with an Orlando resident. Addie?
Glenn, Hurricane Milton has currently left over 3 million homes and businesses across Florida without power. I spoke with one Florida resident who says Milton is unlike any hurricane he's seen before.
I have been here since 2017, so I've been through Irma, but Irma was nothing compared to this.
Hurricane Milton slamming into Florida overnight with winds reaching over 100 miles per hour.
Some of my friends that are in the Tampa area were saying how they lost and they still have no electricity. Internet, nothing. Like everything's basically like a blackout zone.
Western Mass News caught up with Orlando, Florida resident Cameron Coelho. He describes what conditions were like while the storm was passing through his area.
I live on the third floor of an apartment, so flooding wasn't a super big concern, but it was things flying towards the windows, like debris, twigs, like everything.
Coelho adds while his area did get hit hard by the hurricane, it's nothing compared to other cities.
Orlando, we had some flash flooding, some tornadoes, nothing that is comparable to what like Tampa and that entire West Coast got.
Due to Hurricane Milton, the National Grid of Massachusetts has sent dozens of employees, including fleet and safety personnel, to support restoration efforts down in Florida. They released a statement today that reads, quote, "As we all woke up to reports of the devastation in Florida this morning, our additional National Grid Massachusetts electric crews were already well on their journey south to assist. I am so proud of these employees who have jumped into action assisting in back-to-back catastrophic storms, as well as the National Grid employees who are supporting the complex logistics of their travel, lodging, fueling, and meals so their colleagues can focus on restoration." Western Mass News also reached out to Eversource. They tell us there's no request at this time for their assistance down in Florida, but they'll consider any and all requests for support that they receive. For now, reporting live in studio, Addie Patterson, Western Mass News.